Hi there, I'm Jessica. Welcome everybody. In today's segment, I'll be talking about the concept of the narcissist in a relationship dynamic. In the previous segment last week, I introduced the concept of the love addict and love addiction. If you're not quite sure whether or not you fit the prototype of love addiction, I provided a link for you below in the text box. It has a questionnaire and it will take you directly to Love Addicts Anonymous. I think it has around 30 questions or so, which you can fill to try to discern whether or not you fit that prototype. In today's segment, I'll be introducing the narcissist in a relationship. I just like to caveat the video by saying that I'm not a psychotherapist. I am a family dispute resolution practitioner in Australia. I'm registered and accredited by the Attorney General's Department, and my specialized training is in family and domestic violence. I have come across a lot of the narcissist and psychopath personalities in my workspace and also in my personal life. Okay, so what are the core elements of a relationship that is fundamentally narcissist as a dynamic or in nature, as opposed to a healthy relationship? Commonly, those types of relationships display power imbalances where there's a dynamic of power and control over the other party. There's more so domination and submission of the other people with the absence of respect between each other. Boundaries of a person's individuality are not respected in that dynamic, and separateness is not respected as well because they don't exist to begin with. Not like in a healthy partnership or healthy relationship where everyone has their individuality. These relationships are characterized by fusion, enmeshment, if you will, omnipotence and grandiosity. Omnipotence and grandiosity, you will hear a lot, are words that are used by a lot of therapists to describe the narcissist mentality. Some common characteristics of the narcissist in a relationship include poor interpersonal boundaries, also shame dumping and scapegoating on the other party. There's also the narcissist has that grand vision of himself or herself or their relationship dynamic. They also have the idealization of other or idealization of the usefulness. They also have the shameless exploitation of the other person in the relationship, the partner. For that purpose, I'll refer to that here. Shameless exploitation of others as well. You will see that they have that mentality that I will go out to do whatever works for me. It's all about me, basically. They also exhibit mood swings. Not all narcissists do, but mostly they do. And they go across the emotional gradation from rage to, I wouldn't say neutrality, from rage to elation all of a sudden. So mood swings, basically. It's also shown a lot of them exhibit envy in that relationship dynamic, envy of the other party, whether they're going out with their friends or an attempt to sort of keep them at bay and hold the partner closer to them to minimize them from going out and meeting other people and having basically their own life. Narcissists also have that quality where they have that tendency to charm other people. They also seek admiration. And yeah, they can come across as very charismatic, as I just said. Characteristics of a narcissist, they're not just exhibited in an intimate partner relationship like I just described. They can also be present in a parent-child relationship dynamic. And I will specifically make a video about that. I'll save that for another segment. If you, for instance, grew up in a family in which both parents were narcissistic, chances are highly likely that you will be more vulnerable to attract those types of relationships, the narcissistic tendency, the narcissistic flavor into your life. So it's just good to be aware of that. Okay, so what are the main things that you can consider and self-reflect on if you personally identify in your current relationship, whether it's intimate partner, whether it's parent-child, or whether it's a friendship, if the narcissistic dynamic is present? Okay, so firstly, as we know, the hallmark of a good, healthy relationship is equality and good personal boundaries, to have clear separateness between two people, and also emotional strength. So just some ideas for you to consider if you're reflecting on whether you exhibit any of the narcissistic or psychopathic dynamics. Consider, how do you handle your separate time and time with a friend or a separate interest? How do you make your decisions in that dynamic? Do you make your separate decisions about how you use your leisure time? What do you do in your free time? Do you have any privacy within the relationship? Or do you open each other's, and I'm talking about the other party could be a parent, a child, an intimate partner, but just let's say for the purpose of this video, an intimate partner relationship. Do you open each other's mail? Do you eavesdrop on each other? Do you monitor each other? These conversations in the emails. Say if you disagree with the other party, do you have your own voice? Can you voice that? Can you express how you feel in the situation? Can you say that you disagree with your partner's view? Or is there a little bit of fear around that, fear of repercussions of you voicing yourself and say your opinion? Are you able to honestly voice yourself and disagree and have your own perspective? Or do you end up feeling wounded and angry and on the defense? And also, what would you think would happen if you insisted on maintaining a boundary in a particular situation? Would you feel that your partner would backlash at you? Say, for instance, if you asserted you wanted a little space, you wanted 5 minutes or what have you, 10 minutes time off to go out and cool or have a phone call with your friend. Would you fear the repercussion in that context? Are you able to voice yourself and your opinions without experiencing any shame or fear of your partner's response? And in the dynamic also, is the partner responsive? Do they respond with respect, or do they make you feel that you're less than or not so worthy to voice your opinion? So these are some of the questions that you can sit and consider and reflect on. How do we take back our power if we've been in such a dynamic for so long? A lot of people go through these dynamics, and unfortunately, if we haven't done our inner child work, whether that's through a coach or a psychotherapist, just basically working on yourself, acknowledging whether you had that narcissistic dynamic as a child, and if that has repeats into your intimate relationship. It's very important to have that awareness and just start working on yourself to understand how to really stop enabling those type of relationship and put some boundaries. So there's a lot of experts and psychotherapists and academias that say that we have created a society, especially in the capitalist society or the empowered and liberated society, where we have enabled the narcissist and narcissistic personalities, we have enabled narcissists as an unhealthy place to grow. So for us to redeem ourselves, basically we do have to take back our power. And how do we do that? We need to resist and we need to stand up for ourselves. We have to fight for the principles of self-awareness. We have to fight for the principles of self-control, reality checking, and instilling good boundaries and insisting on that and standing up and saying, hey, I will not tolerate less than respectful behavior, and I do require reciprocity, equal give and take in relationship. Okay, so say that you identify of a narcissistic pattern in your relationships. What do you do then? So I did say it's important to go get someone to assist you and to guide you through the inner child healing work, because that on your own, doing it on your own, can be it can be very burdensome and heavy. So it's good to have a coach or someone or a psychotherapist to guide you through that. Basically to accept your parents for who they are. Now, of course, it's easier said than done. It's a process to get to that stage, to really accept that one of your parents, or if both of them are, or one of them is a narcissist, to like verbalize that and then repeat the mantra. Basically, there is nothing that I can do to change my narcissistic parent. I can never be perfect or pleasing enough to win his or her unconditional or consistent love. His or her inability to love and respect me has nothing to do with my value as a human being. The more I cling on to my idealized fantasies of becoming perfect and having an ideal parent, the more I actually hurt and harm myself. I will seek to discover my own uniqueness and to connect with people who are capable of recognizing and accepting me for who I am. I am worthy of the love of my parents. I am worthy of the love my parent was unable to give me. I am worthy of the love my parent was unable to give me. So there's quite a few affirmations like these which you can repeat back to yourself over the course of your recovery, time over time, and those will sort of pattern your neurological pathways to start thinking and shifting your way in another way, or rather than trying to fix your parents or being angry at what happened in the past, but learning to accept people for who they are, your parents for who they are, and going back on the path of freedom where you're no longer attracting these types of relationships in your life because you've done the work. So I hope this video has been of value to you today. If you would like to comment at all, please feel free to do so on the YouTube channel or in the text box below. I will be offering my consulting services and coaching services shortly and down the track. I'm just currently still in the process of working on my website, and I hope to hear from you soon, and I wish you a beautiful day. Namaste.